Hi, GATE families. Thank you for joining us tonight for our GATE orientation. My name is Nikki Mahar. I'm the very proud fifth grade teacher for the GATE class at Fissler School here in Fullerton. Our GATE district director, Patricia Childs, has asked me to share a little bit about my math workshop. Math workshop is a way for me to differentiate math instruction for my learners. It works particularly well with gifted students who often come into fifth grade knowing the very standards that I'm there to teach them. I'm a firm believer that it's a total waste of their time and mine to call everybody to the carpet for a lesson on multiplying decimals if students already know how to do that. Wouldn't their time be better spent using that knowledge to engage in real world tasks or to create something to teach others the skill? So math workshop is pretty similar to readers or writers workshop if you're familiar with those, in that students receive the exact instructional support that they need based on what they already know how to do. How do you know what they already know how to do, Mrs. Mahar? Well, I give them a pretest. And last year was my pilot year for my math workshop, and it went beautifully. In fact, at the end of the year, when I polled my students and I asked them the things that they loved and the things that they thought I should ditch, math workshop was nearly everybody's number one, top of the list item for things to keep. They love it. It accelerates the students that need acceleration, remediates the students that need remediation. And for the kids that are in the middle, it still allows them to work a little bit at their own pace, getting support where they need it and moving on past areas where they don't. So students take a pretest, and I analyze the heck out of this thing. I think each child's pretest probably takes me about 15 minutes. When we're in class and those tests are happening on paper, I'm marking things on paper. And when they're not in class and we're doing Zooms virtually during this distance learning time, they are taking their pretests on Think Central's personal math trainer, which is a tool that we have through our Go Math curriculum online. And I take it a one step further than probably most teachers would, and I make them show their work, whether digitally submitting an image of their work through Seesaw or Google Classroom, or showing their work on their paper assessment. Because what I'm looking for is, does the child have zero understanding of this concept? Which is fine. It's a fifth grade standard and they're just starting fifth grade, and it's highly likely that they don't know it. It's great if they do. But I want them to show their work so I can see, does this child understand the concept of decimal division? Partially or not at all? Maybe their answer is correct, except the decimal's just in the wrong place. That's a quick fix up. That's not a whole slew of activities or lessons that the child needs to learn that one little thing or catch that one little mistake. So after students take their pretest, I complete a form for each child called the pretest analysis. This shows them whether they got a full point or a partial point on each test item. It groups the pretests according to standard or skill. And then they take that pretest analysis and they look at the map. Now, the map is a wonderful document. It stands for Math Activity Plan. And it's color-coded the same way that their pretest analysis is color-coded. The colors don't really have anything to do with the standard, except I went with rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. Roy G. Biv, kind of. So they look at their pretest analysis and they see, oh, I compacted out of the red standard, 5.nbt.6, divide by one-digit divisors. And I don't have to do either of the two activities listed on my map for that section. Gosh, I didn't do so well with two-digit divisors, so I've got to do all 5 of the activities listed for that. 2 lessons with Mrs. Mahar, a Learn Zillion video, a personal math trainer lesson, and an optional video on math antics. The yellow section, I did I showed partial standards mastery. So Mrs. Mahar told me to choose one of the 2 yellow standards to do. For number 4, I have to choose 2. Or maybe Mrs. Mahar said, I want you to do the guided lesson with me and the PMT, or the personal math trainer. Any student that does not earn an 88% or higher on their pretest will have some activities in the color-coded section: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or purple. But students who earn an 88% or higher are what we know as mentors. Those are our math mentors for that chapter. A mentor is somebody who helps other students and can act as a peer tutor or a peer mentor. But in addition, those mentors are then free from doing a whole slew of activities. They might have to do one or two if there's a small area of fixing up they need to do. But in most cases, that's it, one or two from the sections above, and then they head into the math mentor zone. And in the mentor zone are the enrichment and extension activities, the acceleration activities. Sometimes they're even at a sixth grade level, or they're writing an activity or designing something that I can use with classmates next year or later this year with their classmates. Sometimes they have a choice: do set A or do set B, do activity A, B, or C, pick two, do all of them. It just depends. And all of the mentor activities are totally different. Here's an example that I created for Chapter 2 called the Four Seasons Task Card Project. Chapter 2 deals with division of whole numbers with 1 and 2 digit divisors, as well as understanding the relationship between multiplication and division, and interpretation of remainders with word problems. So students open this up and they can see that they have instructions, and then they have slides that they complete, one for each season with an answer key. Another mentor activity is something I was very proud of. It's called the Global Book Club Shopping Activity. And it's a paper packet. I'll have to turn that digital for this year, but I've got a few chapters before that happens. And students they work at a bookstore, and they're receiving online book orders from several teachers who are preparing for book clubs in their class. These students have to do the shopping based on the prices in the bookstore. They use the quantity that the teacher needs, and they multiply out the price of the book times the number of books. They then subtotal and they calculate tax based on a state of their selection. So they can choose Arkansas, where state tax is high, or Alaska, where state tax is very low. They're not allowed to choose states without sales tax. Then the students fill out this document where they list the book, the quantity, the price of the book. Then they show their work and they determine the cost of the set. They determine the state that teacher is in. Oh yes, that's right. They're not in a specific state. They're not choosing it. I'm sorry. The teacher is in a state and pays sales tax according to the state the teacher is in when placing the order. It's been a while since we've done this activity last year. And then they figure out the grand total for all the books for that teacher, and they replicate that on multiple pages. So there are 10 orders, and the student will be completing 10 of these sheets with one teacher's name. Another fun mentor activity that students completed last year and will do again this year if they're mentors is Chef Charlie's Party Planning Project. That's a tongue twister, where they go online to find recipes to plan a themed party. They determine the number of cups of each item, but they have to double or triple or quadruple based on the fact that there are 25 people coming to the party, and a recipe might only make enough for 4 to 6 or 10. So they have to determine if they have to double it, triple it, quadruple it. Towards the end of the year, we learn about coordinate grids. And the Chapter 9 mentor activity is where students create a picture on a coordinate plane, and then they list out the instructions with the coordinates and the ordered pairs that a classmate would then receive to draw the shape without seeing the answer key that the student created. So you see, Math Workshop is a really wonderful way for me to differentiate for my GATE learners as well as the students that need remediation. And in some classes, you have everything from coming in with mastery to not being able to answer a single question on a pretest. And we've got to find a balance to span that divide. It frees my time up from teaching something to students that don't need it. I have mentors and partial mentors that are there to help when I'm working with a small group and a student has a question on a problem or a task. And then students have the benefit of taking a post test if they're not a mentor. And it's amazing to see the growth. And we chart their growth on each pre and post. They create a bar chart. Chapter 1 pre-test, this is my score. Chapter 1 post-test, this is my score. And they can see the growth throughout the school year. And it's pretty awesome. It helps them with their confidence, and students learn exactly what they need. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about my math workshop.